Hello. Somehow this audio program has gotten into your hands, or perhaps you've received it via the internet. Most likely someone has gotten it to you as a way of introducing you to a More to Life weekend course being offered where you live. This weekend course has been impacting the quality of people's lives all over the world since 1981. It is supported by the Kairos Foundation, an international nonprofit educational foundation. The presentation runs a little over 16 minutes and includes material for both personal and professional benefits. So let's get to it. Here's what a number of graduates have had to say about their experience of the More to Life weekend.
Hi, I'm Claire, and I'm from Christchurch in New Zealand.
I'm Glenn Stevenson, and I live in Garden Grove, California.
Candy Southwick, and I live in Phoenix, Arizona.
My name is Susie Lyle, and I'm from London, England.
My name is Mary Bledsoe, and I'm from Cheyenne, Wyoming.
I'm Angela Buffa. I'm from Houston, Texas.
This is Holt Thrasher. I'm from New York.
I'm Ann Hansen, and I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee.
My name's Kim Walker, and I'm from Bozeman, Montana.
My name's Bruce, and I'm from London, England.
My name is Julie Demery, and I'm from Austin, Texas.
If you could think back to when you first found out about the weekend, what was it that led you to say, yes, I'll go do that?
I was really hungry for something that could give me greater ability to live my life more fully. It was just what I wanted.
For me, I was in a down place in my life, and it was a friend at work who told me about it. Yeah, I'm ready to try something because I wanted something different for my life.
I went to the weekend to get a better sense of how it is I wanted to be with my staff and not be over them or supervising them, but to really just be in partnership with them.
I was going through a divorce. I was a single parent and trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, my career. A friend told me about it, and I just took the gift.
And I remember the word on the brochure that said, it will transform the quality of everything in your life. And I thought, I want this. I don't know what it's about, but I want it. So I signed up there and then.
I heard that a friend of mine was going to be taking it, and that particular friend and I had had an argument the year before, and we had never cleared it up. Something in me just said, you know what, it's time. Time to deal with some of the stuff, and that's what moved me.
My first introduction to it was from someone at work, and he had just come back from the training and had a really powerful experience. I went to a preview, and Peggy Jarrett was there doing the presentation, and she started talking about how we're like encrusted in these beliefs and shells. The training was about those shells coming off, layers coming off, to reveal the true person inside. It just jumped out at me, and I just knew.
Were there any concerns or apprehensions that you had about the weekend, and how did you get them handled?
I had every concern in the book, I think. The first one was, it sounds so new agey and weird, and I don't want nothing to do with that. It's just what my mind did with it, really.
Well, I'm a very careful person. I had some hesitations, but he suggested so-and-so down the hall has also taken the weekend, and so-and-so in the other office has taken the weekend, and why don't you go talk to them about it also? So I did that, went off and confirmed it with a couple other people.
My biggest concern was 35 hours and quote-unquote giving up a weekend. I could just not fathom me taking away from my weekends because I held my weekends as so precious, away from work, and they were my playtime, and, you know, it was my time. I learned more about myself in that 35 hours than I ever dreamed imaginable. I was just amazed at that.
The first kind of fear I had was, geez, I've got to kind of go in and get down to a real exposed level about areas at work where I've got this front, my reputation, my image, and the way I am at work is very different than the way I am at home. And what I realized after taking the course and after spending some time working on it is they were very much the same. And that was a shock.
The resistance that came up was my children, how I was going to get them looked after and how they were going to be without me. I had a friend, Nigel Watts. Nigel offered to look after them. That also touched me. He was willing to give up his everyday life in order for me to get on that weekend.
My biggest fear, again, I was coming out of a very traditional Christian belief system, and I was really afraid that it would somehow go against my beliefs or that I'd be, quote-unquote, brainwashed. And I went into the training very concerned about that. But Roy was my trainer, and I got it really early on that he was willing to meet me right there. He just created a very safe place for me to let go of that fear. I felt safe the whole time.
My next concern was about money. I thought, no way could I do this. It's a lot of money. I'd never done any personal development courses before. I just didn't have that sort of money. And my friend said to me, how about you ask your boss if he'd pay for you? So I phoned him up and he just said, sure. So then I had concerns about, getting my life organised enough to be able to leave on that day and go that night to the course and commit to it for the whole length of the time. Because I'm very busy. I had lots of things going on. There was a space. If I wanted it, I could step into it. There was no pull in it. There was no hook in it at all. So I said yes.
A lot of times there's many labels that people put on these kinds of trainings. How would you describe the weekend?
Wow, that's a big question because it's a lot of different things. At the very beginning, when somebody starts in it, it really is a set of processes that helps a person to get away from some of the ideas and beliefs that kind of hold them back. And there weren't really sort of strictures on what you had to believe.
For me, there's lots of books, lots of other courses, lots of awarenesses that I have gained from many places, and I'm grateful for them. But for me, there's a quantitative and qualitative difference. It's very practical. It's actually in my life. It's day to day, under my fingernails, moment by moment, breath by breath.
It's given me some tools to get rid of false beliefs that I have about myself, about others, and about the world. And when I can let go of all of this pretense about how I should be or they should be, then I found out who I am and they are. There's a joy and a gratitude that comes with that that's really quite indescribable.
Saturday evening, when Brad asked us to spend 20 minutes writing down resentments, and I hadn't got any resentments. I didn't resent anybody. The sky was blue. My life was happy. And so I asked one of the support team to come over to help me through the process. He asked me to identify anything which had caused me pain or upset in the past, and I found something and very quickly realized that there was indeed resentment there, and the whole issue of the mind's reaction to unpleasant events then very quickly made sense to me.
For me, it was an opportunity to just wake up that I have choices, that I didn't have to be bound by my previous beliefs and misconceptions and assumptions and all of that. It truly was about looking at what goes on in my mind and not being a victim to it anymore.
For me, it was an experience that changed my life. Something inside me became much more alive and real, and I related to everything outside me, and it was no longer something I was fearful of. It was like, I could be with my ex-husband without all the pain and the despair. I could just be me with people, and it was an amazing experience.
One of the terrific benefits is on how you interact with people. It's funny, when I came back from the course, I used to write down on little yellow sticky pads, how do I want to be with my teammates, my secretary, my boss, my coworkers, with clients, with customers, and what I found was I quit discriminating against people and could just really be myself in these situations.
I'd never realized that I had a tendency to isolate myself from others. So it was for me a profound experience of opening my heart. It's been probably the most guiding experience of my lifetime.
I have some tools now that help me look, and instead of blaming and judging automatically, I can step back and look at it from a real, truthful, what is really happening here. That in itself is a great gift.
To really look at the things that get in my way of creating what it is I want in my life. I just got to see more of me, feel more of me, and celebrate more of me.
It's a teaching program which is expressly non-denominational, not based on any particular faith or creed.
I have real tools I could take home and apply that were easy for me to use. I realized it was work I could carry on for myself.